It seems that Game 4 was full of unexpected. Well then, let's continue the fight between Ian and Ding. As before, the white side will play as Ding, and the black side will play as Ian. Now, let's start the game.
Chris, play the English.
Joe, Anglo-Indian defense.
Edward, play the quiet line. Support to push pawn to d4 and open the way for the bishop to develop and maybe castle in the future.
Richard to b4 attack the white knight and prepare for the castle.
Queen to c2, protect the knight.
Richard, take the knight.
No, my queen. Let Ben take the bishop.
Why? We will have double pawns.
I want to quickly send rook to battle. Maybe also bishop to a3. Trust me. I have prepared this line.
Okay, I believe in you.
Doug to d6, protect e5 pawn and open the diagonal for the bishop to develop.
Edward to e4, prevent the pawn from advancing to attack the knight. Charles to e2, prepare for castle.
Joe to h3, prepare to jump to f4, occupy the outpost and open the way for f-pawn to advance.
Dave to d4, open the diagonal for bishop to control f4 square and bait black to trade pawn. If black trade, we will get rid of the double pawns and have a very strong pawn wall control the center.
Joe, jump to f4.
William, capture the knight.
Queen f6, protect f4 pawn and control e5 square.
Giga to e1, put pressure on the e-file.
Yes, sir.
Chad to e8, face to face with the white rook.
Yes, sir.
Charles to d3, stack with the queen and aim to the h7 pawn and open the way for the rook to control the e-file.
Henry to g4, connect the rook and threatens to double the pawns in front of the white king. Vader to a5, open the way for the pawn to exchange with the white pawn.
Chris to c5. If black captures you, we will follow up by pushing the e5 pawn to attack black's queen. This will force black's queen to move to h6 to protect the h7 pawn, and then we continue with pushing the d4 pawn, and the center will be sealed.
Brian to d8, put pressure on the d5 pawn.
I got you, homie.
Bob to b6, connect the queen side pawn and free the b7 square for the knight to retreat.
Hunter, attack the bishop. Charles to e4, prepare to go to f3 and exchange with the black bishop, so the knight can jump to f3.
Hey, Chad. There's a free pawn out there. I cannot take that pawn. If I do so, white will sacrifice their bishop and their rook will be able to capture me. Instead, I will relocate to e7 and make arrangements to double up my rooks on the e-file. Once that is done, we can safely capture the pawn.
Queen to c3 in order to provide additional protection for e5 pawn. Giga to e2, prepare to double rook on the e-file.
Frank to d6, attack the white pawn. If white trade pawns, the gun will go off and destroy the rook and white bishop.
Edward, go straight, avoid the attack and become passed pawn.
Vader, move to f5, control the center and prepare to occupy the d4 outpost.
Charles, take the black bishop, free f3 square for the knight to jump to and control d4 square. Wait, Galahad, no need to control the d4 square anymore. I have another idea. Giga, move to e4 and attack black pawn.
Queen, retreat to h6, protect f4 pawn.
Queen to f3, join with rook attacking black pawn.
Sir, I think you should play pawn to g5, add more protection to the f4 pawn.
No, I want the knight to jump to d4, attack white queen and become an octopus knight.
Oh my god, he blundered!
Knight d4.
Hold on. Knight d4 is on the board.
Ah, just as I predicted. Chad, take the black knight.
Yes, sir.
Galahad, jump to b3 and attack black pawn.
Giovanni to g5, connect with f4 pawn.
Galahad, capture that pawn, prepare jump to f5, fork the black's rook and queen.
Queen to g6, negate the fork and open the way to push the pawn. After that, we will counterattack on the white king side.
Giorno to g4, control the f5 and h5 square so that the knight can attack black rook later.
Evan, and passant. Hunter to h5, then we will push pawn to g4 to open the white king side.
Galahad, attack the black rook.
Chad to h7 to control the h-file. Then, we can enforce a pawn trade and reveal the h-file.
Queen goes to e4, avoid the attack and threaten to jump the knight into e7 check and capture black queen.
Try to take my queen? Not that easy.
Edward advance.
Queen to f7, put more pressure on the passed pawn and stop white queen to e6.
Doug to d6, attacks e7 pawn.
If I don't capture white pawn, he will go to d7, attack my rook, and then and surely one of the two pawns will be promoted. I have to capture it.
Galahad, fork the queen and rook.
Queen to g8.
Queen to e6, going after the f6 pawn. With the rook targeting the pawn blocked by the king, there's no need to use two pieces to protect it. Steve to f1, attack the f6 pawn with queen.
Chad to h6, protect the pawn.
Steve to d1, preparing go to d8, attack the black queen.
Frank to f5, reveal the attack on the white queen.
Queen to e5, check black king.
I cannot take the pawn. If I take it, the rook will come to e1, pin me and my queen. Chad, move to f6 and attack the queen.
Yes, my king.
Another check.
Queen to g7, attack g5 pawn.
Chad to g6, attack white queen.
Queen to f8, attack the black queen.
Ha, now there's no way to stop that pawn from promoting. Soon or later, I will definitely be down a rook compared to him. There's not much I can do.
Beautiful finish.
There he goes.
And there we go. Handshake. Ding wins.